So in this video, I want to talk about one of the example of SAT math problem. And the question is, if ax plus b times cx minus 7 is equal to 25x squared minus yx plus 49, and a plus c is equal to 26, what are the possible values of y? And before we approach this question, let's look at our solutions for our question that are formed by two steps. And in step 1, we need to find every possible values of a and c, which are a coefficient of the x terms. In the second step, when there are two unknown variables like a or c, we need at least two equations for solving an exact value. The reason is because let's say there is a equation a plus b is equal to 100. We want to find the exact value of y, but we cannot find it because there are two unknown variables. That means we cannot solve it. At least there is one more equation. So at first, let's bring our whole information down. At first, we know that a plus c is equal to 26, but we need at least two equations for solving two variables, and we can make it. So for the second step, we can bring our binomial and the quadratic down. So ax plus b times cx minus 7, and that should be equal to 25x squared minus yx plus 49. And here we can know one fact that if we multiply a and c, we will going to get 25, according to a binomial theorem. So that means in the step 3, we can see that a times c is equal to 25, which a and c are the factor of 25. So we can go to our third step. So fourth step, we can bring our whole information in one step, that we know that a plus c is equal to 26, and then a times c is equal to 25. And this is our whole expression that we are given. So right now, we can make one equation. We can isolate one equation, one with the one variable, and then substitute back to another equation. So we can do that step in the fifth one. So if we isolate a by subtracting c to the both sides, we get a is equal to 26 minus c. And then we know the exact value of a, not exact. So what we have to do is that we know the value of a, we can input it, we can substitute back to our original equation. So that will be a step 6. What we're gonna do is that this 26 minus c replace a, which will going to be 26 minus c. Then all of that times c, and that should be equal to 25. And 26 minus c came from the value of a. So right now, all we have to do right now is distribute c to the both sides. So distribute c to the parentheses to cancel out this parentheses right over here. And then we will get 26 times c is 26c. Negative c times c is negative c squared. And that will be equal to 25. And if you look at our equation, we can see that a biggest degree in this equation is 2, which means it is a quadratic. But for a quadratic one, so the basic form of it is a x squared plus bx plus c, that should be equal to 0, where c is just a constant, in this case 25, where b is a coefficient of a variable, which in this case 26c, and ax squared for a is a coefficient of the biggest degree, which will going to be in this case c squared. So we can make it in that form. So we're going to be into step 8. It is 26c minus c squared is equal to 25. To make into our quadratic form, all we have to do is that subtract 25 to the both side to get rid of it, and then leave 0 to the right side. And for the right side, 25 minus 25, we're going to cancel out as 0, and that should be equal to negative c squared positive 26c, then minus 25. But we need to be careful that we could have just factored it out here, but we need to remember that if the leading coefficient is negative, it's hard to calculate. So in order to make it into positive, we can divide whole expression down into negative 1. So if you divide negative 1 to the both side, we get so negative 1 and the negative 1. And then we can get negative c squared divided by negative 1 is just c squared. So we can write this down again, c squared. And then 26c divided by negative 1 is just equal to positive divided by negative, turning into negative, and then 26c. So negative 26c. And then negative 25 divided by negative 1, negative turning into a positive. So we will going to be positive 25. And that should be equal to 0 divided by negative 1 is 0. Right now, we got a basic format of a quadratic equation. Right now, so we can factor it out using a binomial theorem. At first, it will going to be equal to, there will be two nomials. And then c times c makes c squared. So all we did is we distribute the c. And we can think about in terms of the unknown quantity that I am pointing out. If we multiply together, it will going to give us 25. And if we add it, we're going to get negative 26. So we can think about in terms of 25's factor, which is at first 1 times 25, in a second 5 times 5. Well, we need to be careful with the signs that the midterm is a negative, which means the terms are all negative or one of them is negative. But if you look at our multiplication, it is positive 25, which means negative times negative makes positive. So we can put every negatives to our numbers. And if we add those numbers, we're going to get negative 26. At first, 5 plus 5 is negative 10, which is not equal to negative 26. That means we can cancel this out from our choices. For negative 1 and the negative 25, if we add it, it gives us negative 26. So negative 1 and the negative 25 is our factors of our binomial. So we can bring our numbers. And that should be equal to 0, which means this term is equal to 0, or this term is equal to 0. So we can say that c minus 1 is equal to 0, or c minus 25 is equal to 0. We can find our solutions of c by adding both sides by 1 to get rid of this negative 1. We get c is equal to 1. And for the second one, if we add 25 to the both sides, we get C is equal to 25. Now we got the value of C, and we can input our values of C to our original equation, which is A is equal to 20, A plus C is equal to 26, and that will be a next step. So in step 9, so A plus C is equal to 26. We can input our values of C, which will at first, when C is equal to 1, it will going to be A plus 1 is equal to 26, where the 1 is from the C value. So we can find our solution of A. We can subtract 1 to the both sides, and then we get A should be equal to 25. So it will be a value of A. And we can do a second number possibility when C is equal to 25. When C is equal to 25, it will going to be A plus 25, which is equal to 26, where the number 25 is our C value. So we can subtract 25 to the both sides, and then we will get A is equal to 1. So our value of A is 25 and then 1, which means they're all same values with C. So there will be a 2 number possibilities. So which means for the quadratic one, if you bring our whole expression down again, ax plus b times cx minus 7, and that should be equal to 25x squared minus yx plus 49. And here, so we can bring our equal sign to down. Right now, so there will be 2 number possibility at first when A is equal to 1 and then C is equal to 25. But yeah, before we solve it, we have one more variable left, which means B. And then we can solve for it. So I'll solve for it here. We can know that according to a binomial theorem, B times negative 7 gives us positive 49. So that means positive B times negative 7 gives us 49. All you have to do is divide negative 7 to the both sides. So we will get negative 7 to divide negative 7. We will get B is equal to negative 7. So we can say that our B value is 7, negative 7. So we can just swap it into a negative 7. And now we can input our values of A, which is 1x, minus 7 times C is 25, x minus 7. For here, 1x is from the A, and the 25 is from C. We don't have to multiply x and x terms because we already know that it will going to give us 25x squared, so it's wasting time. All you have to see is that the value of y. So by multiplying the y, all you have to do is multiply x terms and then just a constant terms, which means we can multiply x times negative 7, which will going to give us negative 7x. Negative 7 times 25 is negative 175x. And then it will going to give us 182x. So the y value is 182. We want to negative. and 182, but if you look at our solution, there is no answer. So for our solution, the number 4 is our answer. And people might think that we need to multiply one more when the c is equal to 26 and a is equal to 1, but we don't have to. The reason is because we can only apply that when the constant terms are different. Even though we switch the order, it will going to be 25x minus 7 times x minus 7, which is exactly same with the original one. So this question was about the relationship between a binomial and a quadratic. So all you have to remember is that when there are two unknown variables, we need at least two equations for solving it. And in the next video, I want to talk about one of the example, the same exact example of the thing that I did right now, but another way to approach it, which is easier than this way.